Even a speaker that maybe not be the best mechanically, if they have a good compelling story, they will suck an audience in and draw them in just as effectively as someone who's a good mechanical speaker.
And if you have a great story and a good video, it can draw people in and they feel closer to you. They feel like they know you. They know you, like you, trust you, and want to work with you. Hi, and welcome to Speaker Life TV. I'm so excited to be here because today's our inaugural day. And to showcase this, I have brought my videographer and personal friend, Jason Sievert here. Hey, Jason.
How's it going?
I'm really excited because we both know how important video is. We do.
It's true. It's the lifeblood of pretty much all things content.
You know, one of the things that makes Jason different from other videographers that I've worked with is him and I both come from short documentary film, where you learn to actually tell the story. Can we unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you. That's very, very kind words. And that's true about documentary storytelling. When you dive into the world of watching people's clips, trying to tell a story, there's something organic that is human. And you touch a person and you can influence them with good storytelling.
You know, and I think it's a lost art. You know, especially with social media, you see everybody doing their posts and everything, but I don't see a lot of heart. It's more of a look at me, look at me, look at me.
Yeah, that's true. And while it's not a knock on social media, it has its place. Good old-fashioned storytelling in the form of documentaries or even long-form movies, that does take a lot of effort and craft to put it together in a compelling way.
Well, I agree. Well, can we talk about our mutual friend and client, Dave Sanderson?
Absolutely.
So for those of you who don't know, Dave Sanderson was the hero in the Hudson. He was the last guy to get off Sully's plane and made sure that everybody got off before he got off. Almost died of hypothermia. And he's an amazing speaker. He speaks all over the world, and he's been on my stage several times. But one of the problems is he's got a story that's been heard a million times.
Yeah.
And you and Evan came up with this amazing speaker demo reel for him. So now tell me, Jason, what was it like and how did you get that idea to do that? That was so amazing.
Well, I can't claim 100% ownership of the idea, but in unpacking this, I first met Dave a few years back on one of your trainings, and the story unto itself was compelling as is. Hearing a survival story like that is mind-blowing. The challenge when putting together a speaker demo reel to highlight a story that's been heard 1,000 times over becomes just that. Everyone knows the outcome. They already know the story. So to tackle that challenge required really a different way of telling the same story. But in the case of a speaker demo reel, this goes to event planners. And event planners can tell within the first 5 or 10 seconds if something is authentic and they're going to hire this person or not hire this person. So we went into retelling the same story to grab the attention immediately. And Evan actually found online, Evan, our principal editor, the actual pilot codes and words that were spoken in the cockpit during the emergency. And when we heard those for the first time, it just puts you right in that plane. And so when it comes back to storytelling, I think that was a very effective and quick way to bring somebody to feel the same things that were felt, and you're just sucked right into the same story.
Well, it's much like 9/11. You know, we all know where we were when it happened. And it's funny listening to that because my husband's a pilot and I'm used to the radio jargon and everything, but I hear that and I get goosebumps every time. And I've heard his story, but I haven't heard it told in that way. And as an event planner, I want Dave all the time, because first of all, I know he's always going to deliver a great speech and he's always upping his game, which I love. But I know that he's going to connect to the audience through his heart. People feel him.
100%. And condolences to all the pilots out there. I know these last few weeks have been really challenging with all the issues in airspace. And I'm sure rehearing that story with Dave kind of
I thought about Dave immediately when that happened.
And
immediately.
and one of the other interesting pieces about Dave's story is it's not just about survival, but what happens after a traumatic event like that. Because a lot of times trauma can break people. And so his story really was compelling when I heard it because he took a tough situation and turned it into something really positive. And really that became part of the principal story. Moments matter, or turning tragedy into triumph. And so with those little elements, putting a story together that now is not just emotionally connecting and about survival, but one that actually motivates you to action. I mean, stories don't get better than that.
No, and what I like about Dave too is not he really walks his talk. Not only was he in, I don't know, really freezing temperatures, had hypothermia. And then, he's constantly facing his fear, overcoming it. He just swam in the Hudson again with the Navy SEALs. Who does that?
Yeah, that's
Talk about facing your fears and really walking your talk. And that is so elegant with the really great ones.
yeah, 100%. You might say there's a part two to his story.
Oh, I think there's a lot of part 3, part 4. I think we're going to see a lot more from Dave Sanderson. But I'm so glad you're on this journey with me because people do not understand speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs. First of all, if you don't speak, you need to because it's the best way to position yourself as an expert in front of the many.
Yeah.
Instead of one-to-one, one-to-many, but it's also allows you to create an impact and a legacy. And I know for me, it's very personal. I don't want to speak unless I know that I have something to say.
Yeah.
Part of the reason is I'm an introvert. People don't know that, but I am. But if I can't make an impact and make a difference, I don't want to do it.
And that probably comes across in the way you storytell or the way you speak is people who are passionate about influencing someone in a good way. You can just tell by the way they say something.
Well, as a 2-time cancer survivor, and I can tell you, I've had lots of paid speaking gigs, but I volunteered at the gala for the National Cancer Society. And, at the end, the vice president came up to me and said, "We have a stage 4 breast cancer patient who wants to talk to you."
Wow.
And she came up to me, she gave me the biggest hug and said, "Your story inspired me to fight another day." That's why I do what I do.
Well, and you have a great brand with Speaker Life. When you first told me about that,
Yes.
I thought not only is it a good title, it's a catchy title, but I think that will tell stories like you had just told that will connect with audiences in a meaningful way.
Well, it's true. People connect emotionally. Very few do it through logic.
Yeah.
It's always emotional. And I think it's a lost art. And we're going to bring it back.
Yeah. Yeah, good storytelling. I mean, and social media has its place. We don't
Mhm.
want to just knock that
Nope.
or even the
It's a great
news.
tool.
Yeah, good tool. But you and I come from, a documentary world, and that requires craft and compelling stories that connect with audiences. And that's not something you can just, whip out with a computer. It takes time and
It's a lot of thought and reflection.
yeah, 100%.
And it really is not about us. It's about our audience.
That's an interesting comment from a story perspective because I've heard it said, especially if you're trying to become a speaker, even a speaker that maybe not be the best mechanically, if they have a good story, a good compelling story, they will suck an audience in and draw them in, just as effectively as someone who's a good mechanical speaker.
Absolutely. And I think it's almost like movies. People want to feel. And if you have a great story and a good video, it can draw people in and they feel closer to you. They feel like they know you and they know you, like you, trust you, and want to work with you.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why you need a good demo reel.
And that's true. And that's why I love working with you.
Well,
We're
thank
on
you
the
much.
same
Appreciate
page.
that.
Stories matter.
Yeah, they do. They
So
do.
you're going to come back and be on the show with me?
I will, absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Hey, everybody, that was my videographer, Jason Sievert, who actually is the wind beneath my wings. He's actually my wingman, and he is making the magic happen. I'll see you guys next time.